Now I'm going to put a new layer, and I'm going to double click it, and this will be mouth. So again, I'm going to use the paintbrush tool. The reason being that I don't necessarily want the lines. I could have them. The lines are good for eyes because, of course, we kind of tend to see those in sharp contrast from the rest of our face. But you could also use the pencil tool. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to zoom in here because it's going to make it a little bit easier. So I don't have an entirely steady hand for this, especially with the mouse. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it there. And I see that right here, that is not joined, and that'll make it a problem when I want to actually add fill. So I'm going to click that. I'll check the other one to see. Nope, that's not joined either. Alright, so I'm going to double click the zoom tool, which helps me to zoom out. Going to get some sort of shade for lips. Click it. So the next thing then is the nose. I have a terrible time drawing noses, which is fine. This is not about your drawing ability. This is about making it so that you become familiar with using these tools. So I'm just going to draw a little nose like that. Alright, so the nose is done. This is looking super dorky. That's okay. It's cool, right? It's fun. Now I'm going to draw the hair. So I have kind of faux punk red hair. We're going to just choose that. And I think for this I'm going to use the brush tool. So with the brush tool, down here we have some selections we can use. If you have a tablet, you can click here and that will allow you to use pressure with it if you prefer to do that rather than a mouse. We also have brush size, so I could set the brush size to like super huge hair, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to put it back down to something kind of small. You can also change the brush shape, which is pretty useful too. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it at circle, but notice, of course, too, that I have hair on this top layer, so it's going to I'm going to make it sort of like my hair. And then I will use the fill tool and fill that in. So there, sort of dorky, but fun. I'm going to save because I really advocate saving often. I have had Flash crash on me, so I don't want you to go through that after you've worked really hard on your project. So if you wanted to, say you had wanted to add maybe you read Homestuck online, which is a webcomic, you could add like little horns or something. Next up then, let's add the ears. In my case, my ears actually stick out from my hair. Yours may not, but you know, you might want to go ahead and add something anyway. So I'm going to say ear. So I'm going to use the pencil tool and just kind of put my ear there. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to use the fill, pick the pasty nerd shade, click it. Kind of looks weird. You could also make like pointed ears if you want, like Spock ears. I'll double click it from the center and then go to edit, copy, then paste. Then I click and hold down and move it, and then modify, transform, flip horizontal. So now I have my weird ears. Neat. Okay, so one last thing is that I want to have a hobby. So the hobby that I use quite a lot is video games. I'm going to click the new layer tool, make a hobby layer. You don't have to name your layers the same as mine, by the way. And then, of course, I will go ahead and how can I represent a video game? Well, I don't think I want to draw a full character, so maybe I will draw a game box. So here's a box. Obviously, I need to change the color around a little bit to some other color. And I'm going to make the stroke a bit thicker, lighter. There we go. So I could even do it 3D if I wanted. So I copy it, and then I paste it, and then I put it like this, maybe, and then add like a line here. I wanted to be super dorky about this, and a line here and one right here, and then I can fill, except that's not actually working, so let's zoom in and see what the issue is. Aha! One thing I need to do is get rid of that and this and that and that. Now I can maybe choose a slightly darker shade and give it some sort of 3D appearance. I'm just doing this for the fun of it, by the way, so please do not feel like you need to do that as well. And I might go ahead and make these lines just a little bit thinner because I think they'll look a little nicer. There we go. So now I've also shown you how to make a weird 3D box. Neat. Totally doesn't look like a game box, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and maybe just make a representation of a game character on there. So probably because I tend to play shooters, it's going to be something gory. And I'm just going to draw a mad robot. And it can be a stick figure. You know, if you don't want to draw a cat and your hobby is raising kitties, then you do not have to draw a full-on cat. You can kind of fudge it a little bit. I just wanted you to have this as an excuse to get to know Flash. There we go. You know, I kind of want to be able to tell what your hobby is. I'm not sure that I would know what that is if I were looking at it and grading it, but that's okay. Like I say, I'm not judging you based on your artistic ability. What I want is details, though. You'll notice that in the eyes, I went ahead, put eyelashes, and I didn't have just like a circle. I went ahead and put like, you know, iris pupil going on in there. That's really where you'll start to get to know Flash. If I wanted to, I could maybe mess around with the face shape a little bit more and try to make it a little bit more like me. Sort of dork it up a little or something. But there you have it. And if you have any problems, let me know.